Good to go?
Yeah.
All right, so question 2, that's what do you look for in teacher candidates? Question 1, I address a lot of that, but just some other more specific things. And again, this might sound a bit like business, but it's not intended to. First, I think one of the big things we're looking for is cultural responsiveness. We want folks who are aware of their strengths, are aware of their areas of growth, and aware of how their interaction in our community and our culture add value. That kind of comes at a couple different levels. First, again, is a pure equity piece, is that do the people who work here, is a candidate coming in someone who can collaborate effectively across the level? So can this person work effectively with their teammates and colleagues? Are they going to be responsive to the things, both culturally and professionally, to be responsive? Can they work effectively with students and be culturally responsive and collaborative with them? Can they be aware of where these kids come from, what their needs are, what their strengths are, and then leverage the strengths and remediate the challenges, and be really thoughtful about seeing the world from multiple points of view? That they can do that with me and with my leadership team. I am very uninterested in a candidate who is going to just nod their head and tell me that everything I do is great. As the principal of a school, there isn't a lot of outside external hierarchy that can tell me whether my job is effective in the building on a day-to-day basis. You know, I have bosses that look at the data at the end of the year, pop in and tell me how I might adjust, but I want teachers who are not afraid to come in and say, this is working for me in my classroom, and this school program policy or your practice isn't working for me, and here's how I might change it. If I'm doing something that offends good teaching, something that doesn't allow best practice to occur, I'm not doing it out of negligence or malice. It's more out of ignorance or a different view, and that's a conversation we can have. If I don't know what I'm doing is hurting you and you don't tell me, that's your problem. Because I believe I'm doing what's best for kids every day, and if I'm not, and you choose not to tell me, then you're not answering that question well for yourself. So I give my teachers a lot of freedom and respect, and trust them that they'll have those conversations with me. So I'm looking for a candidate who can handle that. If you're going to come in and just yes us to death, or just do what you're told because you were told to do it, you're going to be frustrated a lot of the time. I think the other piece, between that idea of culturally responsive, collaborative, and being able to stand up for what's best for kids, there's something else that I really am compelled by. I've watched schools around Denver and around the nation take new teachers, graduate students, Teach for America candidates, alternative licensure folks, and regular traditional classroom teachers, and run a school with the idea is I'm going to get every ounce of effective teaching, effort, knowledge, and strength out of these teachers by working them to death for 2 or 3 years. And if they burn out, so be it. I'll get 3 more. There's nothing fulfilling about that for me. So I want a candidate who's going to come in here every day passionately, ready to work as hard as they've ever worked, but I also want them to be able to go home feeling fulfilled, meeting their commitments to their community and their families, because that's the expectation I have for the parents of the students that come here. Why would I create an environment where my teachers live in some other reality? And then I wake up every morning and say, if I didn't have to come to work every day, I probably wouldn't. I think we'd all like to live a life of leisure. But if I have to get up and go to work every day, this is where I want to come. I want to come to this school, I want to come to this job, and I want to do this work. I want my teachers to feel the same way. Do we all feel that way 100% of the time? No. But it needs to be a pretty high percentage, and it needs to be pretty authentic. So if I have teachers who are coming here and half the days are like, I really don't even want to go in that building, or I don't like what I do, I'm going to really encourage them to work with me to adjust that point of view, or to really talk about where can we go, where can you go do this work and feel that way. And I want candidates who are okay with that. If they plan on coming in here and saying, I just need a job, and I want to work, and I want to go home, and I don't care if I hate the job, it's just the job I have, but they're not going to be happy here, and I don't want them to come. And I'm pretty open with that with candidates. This is going to be the hardest you ever worked, but most of us here love it and do it every day, and we're still expected to try to meet the commitments to our family, and I encourage that. I'll move on to the third question. What are some commonalities of your most successful teachers? They display the things I talked about how to get a position and what I'm looking for. They display. I I can't teach you to be passionate, and I can't teach you to be committed. My most successful teachers own that. They are passionate. They are committed. I don't have to convince them to come in here and do their best work every day. They feel morally compelled to do so. So I think if you look at my most effective teachers, you're going to see a passion and a commitment to the teaching process and to our schools that's almost innate. The next is they are well planned, they are well organized, they are thoughtful, and they are reflective. So they plan what they're going to do, they think about how it's going to best impact kids, they execute to the best of their abilities, and then they reflect on how did that go, what will I do differently next time I do it? And they really kind of work that teaching and learning cycle around for themselves on a regular basis. The next piece of what I see my most successful teachers doing is, it's an unbelievable cliche in our profession, the idea of lifelong learning. I don't like it. It's been one of those ones we've washed out. But one of the things I'm really looking for my teachers to be able to do, and my most successful ones do this, is they're moving themselves to a new place, but they don't ever do it alone. They either share that learning with others, they either encourage others to do some learning of their own, but they also move the entire organization. So if one of my teachers is learning how to do the Promethean board more effectively, they'll improve that practice for themselves, but they'll share that practice with others, and then they'll come get on my case about getting more Promethean boards for the other teachers. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for. It's not just, I'm really good at teaching the Promethean board. My most successful teachers don't think about it that way. I'm getting better at teaching the Promethean board so my grade level team can be more effective in moving their kids, so that our school can move our kids more successfully. And to do that, I'm going to press my administrator to buy enough boards so we can all do this better work for kids. It's never bubble. It's never just, this is what's about me and about my classroom. So I think that's my most successful teachers are teacher leaders, and not with a capital T and a capital L where they have some sort of special designation. It's an attitude. It's an attitude that what I do in my classroom is only one part of the success of all of my kids. My most successful teachers here know that they have a special commitment to the 25 or 35 kids they have in their classroom, but they also take responsibility and ownership for all 450. They don't see, if the kindergarten classroom does well and I'm a third grade teacher, I get to celebrate. If the third grade team doesn't make their CSAP scores and I'm the kindergarten teacher or the fifth grade teacher, I need to think and reflect on how I'm going to do better the next time around. So I think those are some of the commonalities I see in my best folks. The last piece